Am I the asshole for telling my friend that being settled for isn't the worst thing in the world? My friend Anna and I were talking about her dating life. Anna is an incredibly beautiful woman and she could have her pick of men. She broke up with her boyfriend because she was out of his league and he knew it. He would act in insecure ways. Anna stated that she didn't want to settle for someone less than the best. She asked me why anyone would settle and brought up my marriage as a positive example of love. I told her that my husband settled for me and he wasn't attracted to me and we still had a happy marriage. Being settled for isn't the worst thing in the world. My husband Alan and I are happily married high school sweethearts. He was heavily bullied in middle and high school. When I moved into his hometown in sophomore year, I stood up for him. By the end of senior year, he had friends and he asked me to prom. 10 years later, we are happily married. However, I know that my husband doesn't find me attractive. I'm naturally taller and more muscular than the average woman. It's a huge insecurity of mine. A year after we married, my husband drunkenly confessed that he didn't find me attractive. He prefers petite women with delicate facial features, but he was grateful for what I did and felt obligated to thank me, which is why he asked me out to prom, why we dated throughout college, why he proposed. He still loved me very much, but wasn't attracted to me. The next morning, he was hungover and had forgotten his confession. He doesn't drink much because he doesn't have a filter and tells the unvarnished truth. I felt crushed, but our marriage was very good otherwise. I never told him what he said that night. He was a great husband. I don't think most men are attracted to the way I look anyways. I explained this to Anna and she was grateful for the advice. That night, Alan started crying. He was crying silently, but I woke up. I hugged him and asked what was wrong, and he admitted he overheard our conversation. I didn't expect him to overhear since I was in the basement, but he heard his name and decided to listen in. Bitch, I would too.
I would too, girl, yeah. Enough.
I apologized for hurting his feelings, but it just made him sob harder. I don't know what I did wrong, if I did anything wrong. Am I the asshole? Girl, I think you're the asshole to yourself, bitch. I think you're the asshole.
Let me put it nicely.
Oh God,
you are what I love to read on Wattpad. You know those people who have absolutely no self-worth, but you want to turn around for them so bad. You want them to like get self-worth. I want to get self-worth. They realize they're not best bitch ever. But before that, they're just here. And he was like, oh my God, it's so sad. Oh my God, you're so horrendous. That you are my favorite tragic heroine.
I just feel like this is so sad because like she's thinking to her, she even said it that like she's not the type for, like she's not the regular type for men, but she's somebody's type and she's not with the person who thinks she's his type, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know, and the whole sentiment that she was telling her friend that it's not the worst thing in the world to be settled for, yes it is, because she feels some type of a way being settled for.
It's like she's disassociated.
Yes, just because she decides that she's being settled for, she feels bad about it, but she's staying, that doesn't mean that it's a good thing. It's still a bad thing because you don't feel good in your marriage. Like, I just don't understand people who are in marriages where they're not like 100%, not even 100%, not like 90% comfortable with that person. Like, why are you with them? And it's just for that companionship, you know what I mean? You just have somebody that is trailing around behind of you. You don't want to go through life by yourself, so you're going to suck it up and you're going to cry every single night, but you're going to wipe your tears and go out with them tomorrow morning. Do you know what I mean? And I hate that. Oh my God.
Well, girl, I don't know, based off this, if I can say all that for that girl. I just know that she doesn't sound like she's all the way up yourself. Like, when like she's like, it just, her tone of voice sounds like it lacks something, you know? Mm-hmm. You know, when some people have self-esteem, you can see that they're just sad individuals. Yeah. But she doesn't sound like overtly sad.
Yeah.
And that's sadder. And that's why Nick is crying in bed.
I feel like she's settled within herself, like the unhappiness. She's accepted the fact that she's going to be unhappy and she's going to stay in this situation. It's like an acceptance. You know what I mean?
I don't know, you keep saying the words like unhappy. No, what I'm like, I don't know. For some reason, this woman just sounds like, it's like she lacks a certain thing.
But I don't think this person is the asshole. Yeah. I just think she's sad. I just really think she's sad.
Even more reason why I think there's a barrier between what she quote unquote should be feeling to what she is feeling is because this is not a question you ask if you're an asshole.
Wait, you know what I think she could be the asshole for trying to make her friend get in the same situation that she's in.
Yes,
that's
why I'm saying there's something wrong with her, because it sounds like she's asking about her man and not the friend. What was the title?
Am I the asshole for telling my friend that being settled for isn't the worst thing in the world? So yeah, you're the asshole. I think you're the asshole, but I don't feel like you realize what you're doing.
I don't think you're a malicious asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Because I really feel like it's a situation where, because you acknowledge in this post that you're not really 100% happy with the situation that you're in. So why would you want your best friend or your friend to be in a situation like that? You know what I mean? A little bit, you're the asshole. Let's read some comments.
It's so bad for you.
Yeah.
I'd love to read your book though.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Listen.
This person says, absolutely not the asshole, but you seem to think less of yourself than you should. You keep mentioning you're grateful he even wants to be married because you're not conventionally beautiful. Do I understand that correctly? A marriage is much more than physical attraction. People have so much more than just their looks, but I think it contributes to it. Because a marriage, in like, I guess the traditional sense, even though I don't like that word, in the traditional sense, a marriage between two people, it's about love, it's about trust, it's about connection, but also there's a sexual element to it, unless you guys are, like asexual, and that attraction plays like a part in it. And I know that it's like kind of touchy to say, you know what I mean, because you're supposed to love this person through whether their faces get scarred up or they balloon or them get skinny or whatever.
Yeah,
but like attraction,
that's after. Yeah, that's after. For some people it's before, because that's how their attraction works. But for most people, it's first. If I look at you and I don't even like how you look, unless it is like a forced proximity thing where like we have to be constantly talking to each other, and that's why I see below the surface. Otherwise, why should I give you the time of day? Why should you give me the time of day? If you don't like how I look and I don't like how you look, I've never looked that way. It's not like I'm outright saying, damn, you an ugly bitch. Like, no, I'm just like, person, bye.
The person continues to say, he must be happy with you as a life partner as you are with him. Perhaps after overhearing you, he realized how little you value yourself because of what he said and feels and he feels terrible. Couples therapy, or at least a lot of open conversation, seems warranted. You both seem like good people. I hope it works out. Oh my god, this comment says maybe he's sobbing because he realized that no matter what he says, you'll stay. He married you out of guilt and gratitude. You knowing that and accepting it as your due is probably taking away his hope that he can work off his debt to you and find someone he truly wants. What he did was shitty, but you ain't a saint either in this situation. You know he doesn't romantically love you, but instead of confronting him and telling him that he doesn't owe you anything just because you were a decent human, you stayed silent because you want him to stay. I wouldn't even call what he did shitty. He was a traumatized victim who latched on to their survivor in his teen years. If a man saved a woman who was out of his league and allowed her to view him as a savior and married her, he would be called a predator.
That person's not wrong.
Jesus, they're not wrong.
I was kind of thinking of it, but I didn't want to say it because I don't think men deserve nothing good.
Because she was one person there for him.
Yeah, and also his confession was drunken,
like she didn't even confront him about it because girl.
It's like girl, you Allegedly, you're miserable. Why you want him to be miserable too? You don't really love that nigga. You're actually a little bit selfish. Which again, I think listen, I hope it doesn't blow up in your face. You know what I mean? Like both of y'all faces.
I feel like it's already beginning to blow up in her face because she can't be a happy person.
I guess, but I mean blow up in the sense like I feel like the way she talk, I feel like it's going to have to be him be like, bitch, I got to go, rather than her leaving. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's gonna give one of those men that doesn't get up and just never come back home.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, this never come back home. Keep the house, I don't care. I'm just gone. I'm gone.
This person replied to that comment and said, calling her a predator is harsh. Her husband misled her. She was unaware that he lacked attraction to her and married her out of obligation.
We don't actually know that because the way she speaks about it back and forth, that she's jumping timelines where like she kind of suspected or knew, and then it was like maybe confirmed. So the girl have a little sense in her head.
Almost like from the beginning, it was kind of transactional, their relationship, you know?
Yeah.
He withheld that information, so she was unable to make a different decision without that information. The husband is an asshole for withholding that information and taking her choice away. We don't know whether or not OP would have settled for an obligation marriage if she knew otherwise.
No, she's giving that.
Yeah,
she's giving
that.
Settled.
She's
like
that.
You, girl, I know, power to the woman, but like no, she's giving like, bitch, I'll bend over backwards.
Yeah.
Like, just give me a little something.
Yeah.
She's giving no backbone.
God. However, I agree with you that OP glossing over the fact that her husband said he married her out of obligation is disturbing. She seems to have a bit of cognitive dissonance regarding whether her husband wants to be with her.
Look at my undergraduate degree. Look at
or
this.
he desperately feels like he has to be with her. Her unwavering security seems a little delusional and self-serving in my opinion. I think OP doesn't want to have to deal with the emotional and mental labor involved with acknowledging that her marriage might be a farce and all the years she will have lost because her emotionally immature husband felt entitled to marry her out of obligation when no one asked him to do that.
I agree with the second half.
Yeah,
because that's the word I was looking for. It on one hand, for me, it sounds like it's like she doesn't have the parts to understand why she's doing it. But the way how she makes the commenter makes it seem is that she doesn't input energy into thinking like that, into understanding why this isn't okay.
Yeah.
Like she kind of know, but she's not innate.
Yeah. I honestly feel like both her and her husband are two very sad people who just feel like they can't do anything better, so they're just stuck with each other and are going through life as companions. And I just feel like in the end you're the asshole, because I don't feel like anybody should be settling out here. You know, if we had less settling, then we'd have less divorces.
Yeah,
we'd have less, you know, you just have less strife in marriages, because people out here just getting married because they don't want to be lonely. You know what I'm saying? Stop settling. Trying to find your person, and if you can't find them, just build a compound with your friends out in the country or something. I don't know.
My final advice, if you ever listen to this, it's not for you, it's for your friend. Run away from that bitch.
Yeah,
because
she doesn't mean you any good.
She doesn't mean herself good.
Yeah,
she doesn't mean herself good. She does not mean you good. Every advice she will give you, every sentence out of her mouth will not be to your benefit, because she's not okay. And I don't like how she was like, oh my god, my friend is like super pretty. She should never. You know,
it's almost like she wants to bring her friend down to her level.
Run away.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Run away.
I feel sorry for everybody in this idea. But anyways, guys, we've been Jody and Malika. Thanks for hanging out with us for the last however many minutes this has been. Put some idea recommendations in the comments for what you guys want us to read and discuss.